Hello, welcome back to another episode of Polycrub Diaries. What I have here is my Harvst Watermate Pro watering kit. So our job for today is to get this set up. So I'm just going to open it up first. So let's have a look at what's in the box. The manual here, just on the side, and inside we have some length of hose here, another length of hose here, and these are all the other bits here. So this is what we've got in the box. We've got, so it comes with an instruction manual, water valve kit, polytunnel pipe fitting kit, Watermate irrigation components. This is the solar panel. In this box we have what looks to be the pump and various angles and filters. This box is the control unit. Have another filter here, some more hose. This must be where the water comes in, and then those are your two outputs. So on the Harvst website, when I was ordering my Watermate Pro, there's a few options. So you can choose from how the system is powered, so by mains or from a solar panel. So I've chosen the solar panel, and you can also choose whether it's mains water or whether it's from a pump and a water butt. So I've set up a water butt outside, and I'm going to be using water from that. So on the front of the manual there's a QR code, so I've just scanned that with phone and it takes you to the Harvst website, and on the website there's lots of different guides for how to set up a lot of their products. So I'm going to click on Watermate, and then this will take us through the setup with videos to follow. In the box there's been 3 types of pipe have arrived. So this one here is like a braided hose, so that is going to be what will ultimately go into our water butt here, and the other end will have the pump on it. The ones down here, there's 2 lengths of this, and this is what the irrigation lines will run on. And this much finer pipe, it can be attached to the irrigation lines with drippers and various other attachments. I'm fortunate here in my Polycrub, I have a wee bit of a gap just in the bottom here that I can get a finger through. And I'm just going to post the end of the hose in there. And the plan is to have the control box down here in the corner, and then obviously the other end of that hose goes into the water butt. So on the other end of the pipe I'm going to put this strainer. So first of all I need to put one of these Jubilee clips onto the hose, and then I can push the strainer on, slide the Jubilee clip up, tighten this up with a screwdriver, like that. So now that this is tightened up, I'm going to push this into my water container, like that. This is the water pump. I'm going to mount it here, and this is a secondary filter. You'll notice there's an arrow on it, and it will be connecting to the inlet on this side, and then this side will be going into this end of the pump. So again, the pump, it only works in one direction too, so you'll see that arrow points to the outlet. So I'm just going to attach this in here, so it's just a push fit, and then push in the blue tab, and that locks it. I'll fix this up here. So next, Jubilee clip onto the hose. Slide the hose on here to the secondary filter. Slide down the Jubilee clip and just tighten up.
Attached to the outlet from the water pipe is going to be this water valve kit. The outlet from the water pump comes onto this connection here, and then we have two outlets, one each for each of the LDPE high capacity water pipe. In order to connect the two outlet pipes to the LDPE pipe, you have these short section of hose. So a Jubilee clip onto one end, that's going to go onto this outlet, and then in the other end is one of these connector pieces. So that gets pushed in here, and on the other end it's going to attach to the LDPE pipe. This is the water valve unit all connected up. Two sections of blue pipe are supplied with the kit. They are already cut to that length, each with a Jubilee clip now fitted and tightened up on the connection port. I had the plastic push connector that's been pushed into the blue pipe and then connected to the LDPE pipe, both sides. I think the idea here with the two valves is these can be individually controlled. So you could have one as zone 1 and one as zone 2, and you might have a different watering regimen for one zone versus the other. I guess maybe if it was seedlings and trays, they might need more regular watering than plants that are in deeper beds. We've just got the pipe basically trying to reach all the beds. We might try and adjust the watering to individual beds based on the timer or the controller. This water valve unit has a bracket which you fit. It's an Allen key head bolt, 2.5mm. What I'm proposing to do is have that mounted on this board. That's that right angle bracket attached to the water valve unit, now secured to the beam, and I've got both pipes leading off without any kinks. And the next step is now to connect the water valves down to the water pump, which I've got mounted directly underneath and slightly to the left, because there's now going to be a hose running from the water pump up to this connector on the valve. You need to attach kind of standard snap-on hose connector. So that's the snap-on connector now attached to the end of the hose, and that just pushes on to the valve unit. I've now cut it to length so that I can connect it to the output on the pump. That's going to require another of these push fit connectors.
This is the hose connected to the outlet in the pump, and it's just with a Jubilee clip again to hold it.
One of the constraints for the system is the length of the hose, which is going to be running from the control valve and has to reach fairly close to all the points round the Polycrub that you want to reach. It is possible to attach the finer hose with junctions to the larger capacity LDPE pipe, but you do want the LDPE pipe to basically try and reach round the perimeter of the Polycrub. So what we've done is we've routed it along one of the lengths, goes along one side up to a central point and then back up. It's just long enough just to reach back along the full length of our central planting bed. And then the other pipe, it goes up and over and is long enough to reach right down the far side of the Polycrub. And our plan is either to put sprayer nozzles here to reach this bed, or we can run the smaller diameter pipe down and have 180 sprayers or drippers. The pack contains 10 360 sprayers and 10 180 sprayers. I mean, it would be possible to buy additional ones, but we're going to see if it's possible just with the kit that we're supplied with to reach all the beds, either with the sprayers or the drippers. Our thinking is that the 360 sprayers are probably better attached to this overhead pipe, and then that will service the whole of the central bed. So this is the control unit. It needs to be mounted, I think, within 1 metre of the valves. And I think that the reason for that is that that's the length of the control cable they've given you. We would have enough cable length to mount it here. There are bolts and things provided with the control unit for mounting it, but if you open these flaps, there are screw holes on each side, so we're just going to use screws. Each of the connectors and buttons, they're all labelled here, on off, temperature for a temperature sensor on this side, a soil moisture sensor on this side. This one here is for the control valves, so I'll just connect that up now. You can see on the connector cable there's a slot, and there's a similar slot on the plastic housing here, so that you can get the 3 prongs orientated correctly. This is the control cable for the pump, so that's labelled here. So the cable can only go on one way, and then we'll just tidy these cables up with some zip ties in just a second. The last connection we need to make is for power. So that's going to be for in our case, that's for a solar panel unit that's supplied with the kit. The next thing we're going to connect to the control unit is the temperature sensor. That's supplied with the kit. I think the soil sensors, they must be for purchase separately. It's a fairly short cable on the temperature sensor, so kind of limited in where we can put it. Again, it's got a slot on the connector, 3 prongs, so if you locate the slot first, screw the attachment up. So to mount the temperature sensor, these are 7mm cable clips.
I'm just attaching the bracket to the back of the solar panel, and the easiest way I've found to do this is to use a small adjustable spanner and put the nut, actually clamp the nut on that tight, and then you can slide that underneath, line it up with the hole like that, and then you can slide your bracket into position, and then put your small Allen key nut in and screw that in. We got these 2 brackets fitted inside, and those actually go on to the solar panel itself, and then we've fitted this and this just with these wee bolts and nuts here, and we're just offering it up onto the roof of the Polycrub, just in line with one of the purlins, just to see what would be an appropriate kind of angle and place for it to sit. So we should now be able to close the brackets, like that, set it at the right angle for us, and then we have another couple of bolts and nuts to put in just to secure it. What we're doing now is just tightening up the additional nut and bolt on each side, and that then holds the solar panel in that position. Just cable clipping the cable. So we're just zip tying the cable onto the Polycrub. The kit comes with a number of different fixings attached to the hose and also to set up some drippers. These are the 360 sprayers. These here are the 180 sprayers. T-piece connectors, that's for joining the small bits of hose together to set up drippers. We have some small stakes, so you can push those into the soil and those attach to the small hose. These are the drippers, and over here are the valves. This is the 4mm hose that's supplied, and it's for use with most of these fixings here. What we're doing now is we're attaching some 360 spray nozzles to the section of hose that follows the roof line. This is the tool that you use. It has a wee point on it, and you just pierce that into the hose, and then the connector is here. So this is a 361, and you'll see it has a wee kind of thread on it, and all you do is you screw that in. The kit comes with some radisseurs and some wire, and the idea is that you tension those from the front gable to the end gable, and then you can run your hose along those. However, in the Polycrub here, we are just using these purlins, the wooden purlins that are already part of the structure, and what we had lying about was some of these cable clips. They're a little bit big, but those are doing a great job there, so we've just attached those with a screw at various points along the side just to secure the hose. Along here on the sides to water this bed, we have put in these 180-degree sprayers. So there's one there, another one just here, and there's also one here. We've got the 5 360 sprayers that are positioned along the roof. So those cover this central bed. Over here, where we have our hanging planters, we have put in a little valve here and some small sections of hose, and those come up, and each little planter is going to have its own little dripper. So we've just got a T-junction here, and then it comes down to the next one. We're just putting in another T-junction there, and that will be for this one, and we'll just work the rest of the way down to the bottom. We're just going to do a wee test of zone 2, so that should be the sprayers along here and also the drippers that we've set up here. There we go. Yep, that's definitely dripping. The setup in these wee planters seems to be working well. You can see the drippers, when it was turned on there, have definitely watered as they should. I think maybe a longer duration would be helpful. On the control box, this is the wake button. So if you press that, that's it woken up, and I can now manually water. 2 beeps, and that should put on zone 2. I'm just going to step outside here or I'll get soaked. So for us, zone 2 is the roof, and also the sprayers along the left hand side there. You can see those all spraying just now. And in addition to the sprayers at the side, we've also done the same down here with these planters. We've put the wee drippers in here too. To water this length of gutter, we have a sprayer just up at the top here, so that's just a 180 sprayer. And I have the same setup on the other side. You can just see the 180 sprayer up there, and that's used for this bed. That is our Harvst Watermate Pro, all set up and installed. We hope you found this video helpful. and you will find it easy to do the same. In the next video, we'll show you how to connect the system to online mode, to local Wi-Fi network, and control it from your phone.